Welcome to the Your Talent Matters podcast, where we delve into the world of human resources and employee benefits in Canada. Join hosts Mehdi Rahman, a strategic human resources consultant, and Nick Godfrey, a seasoned employee benefits advisor, as they explore the many challenges that businesses face in attracting, developing, and engaging top talent. So sit back, relax, and learn from the experts on how your talent matters when it comes to growing a business.
Hi, and welcome to Your Talent Matters podcast. My name is Nick Godfrey, and I'm an employee benefits specialist here in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. And I've been involved in the financial services industry since the mid-'80s, so I am dating myself. I've been licensed as a life and health insurance broker since '88. And for the last 10 years, my specialty has been employee benefits. So what we do is we design benefit plans to help attract and retain employees for small businesses here in Canada.
My name is Mehdi Rahman, and I've been in human resources for the last 25 years. I've worked for some of the most iconic organizations, both at the tactical level, in restaurants, in offices, and then all the way up to head office, or looking at after national programs like national staffing or global HR. So I've had an amazing career. I'm based right now in Mississauga, Ontario. So very, very Canadian, very proud to be very Canadian too.
Yeah, excellent. So it was COVID, and I was reaching out in need of human contact and spent a lot of time on LinkedIn, and decided to network with human resources professionals. And lo and behold, I met Mehdi, and for whatever reason, and I know now, we connected and stayed connected. And so what we've decided to do is partner to help small Canadian businesses grow. And what we've discovered is that many small businesses in Canada, say with 30 to 70 employees, don't have the need or the budget for a full-time HR person. So I thought adding HR to my benefits practice was really only at no additional cost to the owner, would be a great way to differentiate our practice from everyone else. So it adds real value, and again, it's at no additional costs, and we're looking to help small businesses grow.
Yeah, we want Canada to win.
We want Canada to win.
Yeah.
Exactly. So today we've decided to talk about, is there a war for talent?
Yeah.
And because and Mehdi's the HR guy, so he's going to be the pro in answering this question. But when we first came out with this question, I started to think, hasn't there always been a war for talent? But let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just jump right in. So there's always been a war for talent, especially good talent. But I think it's getting worse. And all the statistics are showing that it's worse. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get very, very difficult for small, medium, large organizations. No matter who you are, it will get worse.
Why do you think that is?
So it's everything from organizations getting sophisticated, changing their makeup, changing the needs of what they need. I think it's also statistically there's less of talent pools in certain markets. You're also having the shortages in specific skills as organizations continue to grow and diversify. And then also the pools of talent that we've been historically drawing upon, folks from LinkedIn, folks from the larger urban centers, people in specific networks. Those folks are aging out. So you have a lot of folks that are starting to retire. With COVID especially, a lot of folks chose to retire, and we have that talent pool, the historic talent pool that we've been drawing upon has been.
Do you think that potential employees, talent is getting pickier about what they do?
Absolutely. There's, I was joking with one of my friends, and we were reading a stat about, amongst, certain generations right now, where talent pools, the number one job is influencer, right? Like everybody wants to be an influencer. So there's, how many influencers could you really have? But in addition to that, the standard of what employees are tolerating, it's much, much, higher. In the past, you have different workforces, tolerating like, different types of work standards and management styles. And now, the current workforce, as diverse as it is, they're like expecting more and more from their employer. And it's not more, in a bad way. They're just expecting higher standards.
Some of the things I've been hearing about is with the younger generation in particular is the need for understanding the culture of the business and what the mission of the business is and the purpose. There's a lot more about purpose, and purpose is everything, is what some people say. And they want to know why they're getting up in the morning and what they're doing and how they're making a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'll correct that statement and that thought. I don't think it's just the younger generation. I think all folks, they value communication. They want to be successful. They want to achieve missions and goals, and they want to be, they want to develop and they want to be part of their development. And that's part of the culture of the organizations that people are working for. So I don't think it's like specifically just one generation that's looking for that. I think everybody wants to know who we are, where we're going, who's coming along with us. Those are kind of like human things that we're all looking for. So culture, in my history and my experiences, working for organizations like McDonald's, who are highly, mission driven, culture driven, Best Buy, highly culture driven. You can, employees there stay on average sometimes 9 years because of the culture. And, these are employees that are non-commissioned. The salary standards are, and the wage bands are very, 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 very public. And, people choose to stay there because of the culture.
So clearly compensation's important, but where would you rank? I mean, from the discussions we have in our groups of employee benefits people, because we always like to think employee benefits are, the key. This is the tool you need to attract and retain employees. Whereas, in point of fact, it's kind of down the list.
It's a part of it.
Down the list than I would like it.
Yeah,
yeah.
So there's this. I believe it's Herzberg. So I'm going to nerd out on you a little bit. And there's this theory, a two-factor theory. And as HR professionals, as business owners, we should all know this at all levels. Even as an individual contributor, we should know this, that there are hygiene factors that we look for. So basic table stakes, basic things that we as employers need to provide. Salary being one of them, benefits being one of them, communication processes, development, all these basic things. And then there are, motivating factors, factors that where you go from just performing, completing your job to like actually being engaged and higher performing. And so, it is, compensation is part of the mix. I know I'm sounding very HRy right now and not answering your question, but it's part of the mix. It's a foundational part of the mix, but in the total remote rewards culture and the total rewards kind of situation, you got to know, what the total rewards that you're offering your employees. I'll be a little bit more specific and I'll answer that. There are a lot of folks, when they resign, they say, I'm leaving an organization, I got better pay. If you peel that onion, you'll find out that some people are leaving for as low as 5% increase, right? Which isn't a lot. Now, but the real reason why they're leaving is it's their relationship with their manager. That's the number one reason. It's the relationships with their team members and peers. And then third is this word respect and how they feel in the workplace. Those are the real three things. Some studies say it's the seventh, most important thing is compensation. I would probably put it a little bit higher. I'd put total rewards, closer, closer to those top three things. So it is extremely important. So I would call bluff if anyone says like I'm leaving for money. If it's less than 20% or a lifestyle change, I'd call bluff on that if I was a manager or a leader.
Well, change is difficult. So leaving an organization, it is hard. You got to have a really good reason to leave, because you're going into the unknown, and just extra money uh, doesn't always mitigate that risk. So I think you're absolutely right. I think if people are leaving your organization, you have to have some soul searching and figure out why they're leaving,
Yeah.
and start to ask people maybe. And I know you and I are big fans of surveying the employees anonymously and asking them, how are things going? You might not get some of the answers that you necessarily want to hear, but you want to head those off before you're getting a letter from somebody, one of your key people, and they're heading out the door, and you go, what did we do? And you say, well, it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, some cultures, like when I was at McDonald's, even at the restaurant level, not in corporate offices, we would have at least 2 conversations a year about my performance, like about an individual contributor. So if I was a person making fries every single day, or making, cleaning the lot, I would have a conversation with my boss, twice a year about my performance, about my, goals, about where I want to go, and all that. And that in itself is a huge, motivating factor, and it's also a way that we're connecting with our employees. So organizations that have consistent employee check-ins, in addition to surveying, anonymous surveying, you're getting a temperature of your employees. How are they feeling? Right? We're humans; they're humans, and we as humans, we want to, again, like, have these relationships. And I think those data points or those kind of experiences really help someone understand how are my employees feeling and what can I do about it.
You want to know that they give a damn.
Yeah.
That there's a connection
there.
there.
And vice versa. I would like, they want to know that you give a damn about them, right? Like that you actually are vested, and vice versa, that they give a damn about the job and the work and the mission that we're trying to achieve here.
Exactly. So this is our first podcast, and I think it's going really well. If I do say so myself.
I love this.
Yeah, no, this is a great way to share what, who we are and what we're doing and how we can help. What, if you had to give a couple of, action points, for somebody who's kind of going, yeah, gee whiz, we think we're losing the war for talent. What's the takeaway we could have today, Mehdi?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very big topic, and I really, I think we're striving to have this topic quarterly, have a quarterly update on this topic, looking at economic factors, looking at headwinds. I think right now what's going on with technology. So if you have a technology business or a technology division of your business, talent is like all over the place with some of the changes there. And then, different talent pools, different things are happening, especially with the economy in the current state that it is. So this should be, and it will be, a staple part of our podcast series. But in terms of takeaways, I'll layer it in 3 levels. One level, if I was an owner of a business or a leader of an enterprise or organization, I think it's, I'll probably put 2 in. One is taking a current snapshot of your employee engagement, your employee, situation. How are they feeling? What is the recent data? And if I don't have recent data, get on the floor and just, how are you feeling, Nick? How are you feeling, Mehdi? A lot of change. We're coming out of COVID. How are you feeling? And, you'll feel it or you'll see it, how they're responding. And if you have the luxury of, employee satisfaction surveys, there's a lot of great tools out there. Just, doing an anonymous one or a very, very basic one of, tell me how you're feeling, put, 2 or 3 boxes in it if I'm using like, a free tool, and then maybe an open text box of saying like, how can I help or how can we help? Really, really simple things. So getting a current state. I think if a second thing is starting to look at talent pools in different arenas, right? Where are, does my organization reflect my current, customer base or the current place that I live? There's some employers that, they have minority employees that are, like a small percentage of their base, but, living, in a very diverse part of the city. That's not only not right, but it's not, a good business practice. It's not a great business practice. So, where are the talent pools in my local community? Can I reach out to, a group called Talent, that, really support women in the workforce, specifically after COVID. Folks like, the folks at, black professionals in tech, right? How are they doing? Like, or new Canadians. There's all these talent pools. So, that would be one if I was at the leadership level. If I was at the management level, again, I think, everything from employee reviews, taking an inventory of how my employees are doing, and investing in the relationship. It could be as simple as giving high fives and kudos, and we're looking to like just create a culture of appreciation, or even giving clarity in terms of people's jobs or performance. And then as an individual contributor, I think, if I'm part of an organization, what am I doing for the war for talent, and how am I helping my organization win? I think it's, reaching out to my network, seeing how I could pull people in, that haven't historically chose or thought about working for my organization. Maybe even putting good news about my organization on, public forums like Glassdoor, or on, other like, LinkedIn and things like that, so that people look at it and be like, oh, wow, like, Nick's having a great time at that organization. I think that those are things that we could all do to help our current organization and win in this war for talents currently.
Excellent. Why don't we wrap that up for this one?
I think that's great, and I'm really looking forward to
I think that's great.
the next topic for sure.
And we'll get that in the can. So we're looking forward to that. Thanks very much for listening today, and we'll stay tuned. Please subscribe.
Thanks for listening to the Your Talent Matters podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please share it with others. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with your hosts, you can visit their website, yourtalentmatters.ca. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.